After premiering their first animated feature in 1937, Disney got financed the headquarters they still use today and kept making shorts and features, like Pinocchio and Fantasia in 1940, Dumbo in 1941, and Bambi in 1942, already during the Second World War. With the movies making less money in general, no access to the European market, and having received criticisms from hunters and people who wanted more magical stories, Bambi actually lost money. In the same year, 90% of the animators had been drafted, and, just to be patriotic, Disney starts producing anti-Nazi propaganda shorts for the American government. Among them, maybe the most famous is Der Fueher's Face, starring no other than Donald Duck. The cartoon starts with an Oompa band, which is pretty cheerful for a dictatorship, made up of caricatures of Hirohito, Mussolini, and 3 Nazi leaders, Goebbels, Himmler, and Göring, who act and sing in a way to show the huge paradoxes in Nazi philosophy, and look goofy and effeminate so they can make fun of them, of course.
Is he not the Superman?
Arian Pura Superman?
Yahweh is the Superman.
Super duper Superman.
All to the sound of a gay old song of the same name. In fact, the original name was Donald Duck in Naziland, combining nuts and Nazi. Get it? This song was recorded for the cartoon and became so popular that the name was changed to capitalize on its fame. Donald, who can stay asleep despite the Nazi clocks, is poked out of bed by a soldier, has his horrible breakfast, is forced to read Hitler's biography while eating, and has his house invaded cheerfully by the band to be taken by it, going straight to his 48-hour-a-day work, where he works not only hard, but has to howl every time some douchebag puts a portrait of Adolf next to the shell he has to finish. And, of course, has to work until he goes insane to the point of waking up from this nightmare and feeling glad for being alive in the graces of American curtains and gold-painted statuettes. Oh, where else would such ridiculous shorts be worn? Oh yeah.
If I can change,
Я думаю, что каждый тоже изменился
and
сегодня.
you can change,
Вы можете измениться.
everybody can change.
Good message, but somewhat funny delivery. Speaking of delivery, this is where I realized why this short deserved an Oscar. A few moments in the short separated from Education for Deaf, for instance. In most propaganda shorts, every German is killed if they have too strong a cold and suffers brainwashing from the time they are kids.
Yeah.
Nope. Propaganda, of course, but recruiting started at age 14 to the Hitler Youth, and many people just ignored the horrible things done by the Nazis because they weren't attacks on them particularly. In this short, on the other hand, we see this. Donald, in his mind, sees himself as Hitler, getting a howl from emo Hitler. This frame deserves a literary analysis class. Hitler, obviously as human as the main character here, is a serious man who must be saluted by War Hitler. Unlike other cartoons that ridiculed and demonized Nazis, this one does what everyone is afraid of doing, and compares them to us. Shows war making people and getting a life of its own at the same time that it is insane. All that because of the historical scenario of pre-war United States. Remember those images of employees always being watched?
Hey! Quit stalling, get back to work.
With few available jobs and forced to work more and more for less and less? Sounds familiar? Welcome to the Great Depression years. Not only this nightmare was pretty much alive, to the point of distinguishing this cartoon from the rest of the propaganda, they also show you this. Donald happily getting dressed despite being in Naziland. Almost as if Germans weren't born demons. And this. Donald Duck looking evil for having too little and wanting not to lose it. In other words, among normal people afflicted with poverty, one of them convinced the others that overworking and loving only your own leader is a privilege, and that war makes sense. While others just give you a cardboard cutout of a Nazi, this short speaks of a pretty recent fear, which, let's face it, is quite real still today in some places. Oh, and of course, Donald wakes up in a place just slightly less full of nationalist symbols, and feels forced to do what he would do in Naziland, except they don't do that there. Basically saying that the US could be Nazi Germany. Sure, they mean the US are better, but it sounds a lot like, if we wanted to, you'd be fucked. I'm Benito, you're beautiful, thank you for watching. Forgettable pop song for presentation, and this is the quality you can expect. And this will be your reaction. We are then introduced to the hero, Dax, who's waiting for the camera to say an impactful phrase. I could ignore the value of women increasing together with their breast size, and that some come not to fit to the woman's chest anymore. But gotcha, a lolly that literally tortures an older girl a different way every episode and fights for the title of Queen of Sadomasochism.